Picture this. You turn on your PC Monday morning, and instead of your desktop, you get a black screen and three words: automatic repair failed. No start menu, no files, nothing. Here's the good news: there's a tool most people never touch until it's too late, and by then it's too late to make it. It's called a recovery drive, and it's a small USB stick that can bring a dead Windows 11 machine back to life. Today, we're building one step by step and understanding exactly what it does and why each step matters. Because the 5 minutes it takes now is the difference between a quick fix later and losing everything. So, what actually is a Windows recovery drive? Think of it like a spare key you cut for your house before you get locked out, not after. Technically, it's a bootable USB flash drive, a drive your computer can start up from instead of starting from its normal internal hard disk. Windows packs it with the essential repair tools it would normally load from your main drive, plus, optionally, the system files needed to reinstall Windows completely. That combination unlocks three things when your PC is in trouble. 1. It lets you troubleshoot startup or boot failures, the black screen scenario we just imagined. 2. It gives you access to advanced recovery options, a whole menu of repair tools that don't even need Windows running. And 3. If you backed up those system files, it lets you reinstall Windows itself from scratch using only that USB stick. This is the foundation, a self contained toolkit that works even when the operating system it's rescuing can't even boot. Now, before you plug anything in, there are two hard rules, and they trip more people up than any other step. Rule 1: the recovery tools must live on an external USB flash drive, never on an internal partition of your hard disk. Why? Because if your internal disk is the thing that's broken, a repair tool living on that same disk is useless, like keeping your spare house key inside the house you're locked out of. It has to be separate, portable, external. Rule 2, and this one's sneakier: that USB drive must be formatted as FAT32, not NTFS and not exFAT. Here's the plain English version. FAT32, NTFS, and exFAT are just different filing systems, different ways of organizing data on a drive. Your computer's boot firmware, the very first code that runs before Windows even starts, only knows how to read the simplest one, FAT32. NTFS and exFAT are more modern and more capable, but that early boot up code can't parse them. So if your USB is formatted the wrong way, Windows' recovery drive tool will refuse to use it. No error you can easily fix later, just silently unavailable. USB drive formatted FAT32. Lock those two facts in before you move on. Step 1: opening the tool itself. This part is refreshingly simple. Click the Windows search bar, the one right on your taskbar, and type exactly this: create a recovery drive. Windows will surface its built-in recovery drive wizard immediately. You don't need to install anything extra. Click it, and Windows will ask for administrator permission. Click Yes. Why does it need that? Because this tool is about to read deep system files and write boot-level data to a USB drive, operations that could seriously damage your system if any application could trigger them. That permission prompt is Windows double-checking that it's really you, the owner of the machine, asking for this. If your account requires a password, enter it now. That's it. One search, one click, one confirmation, and the wizard is open and waiting. Step 2 is where you make the one real decision in this whole process. Inside the Recovery Drive window, you'll see a checkbox: Backup System Files to the Recovery Drive. It's checked by default, and Microsoft recommends leaving it that way. Here's why that matters. If you leave it checked, your recovery drive becomes powerful enough to fully reinstall Windows from nothing, not just repair a broken installation. Uncheck it, and you get a smaller, faster to create drive that can still fix boot problems and run repair tools, but it can't reinstall the operating system itself. Think of it as the difference between carrying a first aid kit versus carrying a full field hospital. The first aid kit is lighter and quicker to grab. The field hospital can save you from something the first aid kit simply can't handle. For most people, checking that box is worth the extra space and extra time. You're building the field hospital version. Once you've decided, click Next. Step 3. This is where the physical USB drive comes into play. Plug your flash drive into any open USB port. Windows will scan for it and show it in a list of available drives. And here's the moment to slow down and read carefully, because this next part is unforgiving. Whichever drive you select is about to be completely erased. Every photo, every document, every file already on that USB stick will be wiped to make room for the recovery tools. So before you click, double check you've selected the right drive, not a USB stick with your vacation photos, not a coworker's backup drive. And remember Rule 2 from earlier. It needs to already be formatted FAT32 and it needs enough free space. Recovery drives with system files can need well over 16 gigabytes, sometimes more depending on your version of Windows. Select the correct empty FAT32 drive from the list and click Next. Step 4 is the payoff, and it's almost entirely hands-off. Click Create, and Windows gets to work. It starts copying two things onto your USB stick: the recovery environment itself, the menus and repair tools you'll see if you ever boot from this drive, and, if you kept that box checked, the full set of system files needed to reinstall Windows. This is not an instant process. Depending on your system's speed and whether you're backing up system files, it can take anywhere from a few minutes to well over half an hour. Don't unplug the drive, don't close your laptop, just let it run. When the progress bar finishes, Windows will tell you plainly, your USB drive is now ready. At that point, label it, write Windows 11 Recovery on it with a marker, and put it somewhere you'll actually remember: a drawer, not a junk box. So let's fast forward to the moment you actually need this thing. Say 6 months from now, your laptop won't get past the Windows logo. It just loops, boots, freezes, reboots over and over. This is exactly the scenario the recovery drive exists for. You plug in that labeled USB stick, restart the PC, and force it to boot from the USB instead of the internal disk, usually by holding a boot menu key during startup. Instead of the broken Windows load, you land in something called Advanced Recovery Options. This is a menu, not a single button, and it gives you a genuine choice depending on how bad things are. You can repair, let Windows try to fix startup files without touching your data. You can reset, wipe Windows back to factory settings while optionally keeping your personal files. Or, if you backed up system files back in Step 2, you can fully reinstall Windows from the USB itself, rebuilding the operating system from scratch. 3 different levels of rescue, all from one small drive. That range of options, repair, reset, or full reinstall, is exactly why we made the effort to build this thing in the first place. Let's bring it all together. A Windows 11 recovery drive is a USB stick, formatted FAT32, that carries Windows's own repair tools, and optionally, everything needed to reinstall the operating system. You build it in 4 moves. Open the tool through Search, choose whether to back up system files, plug in and select your USB drive, and click Create. 4 steps, 1 USB stick, and a few minutes now. Here's the real lesson, though. This only works if you make it before the crisis, not during it. You cannot create a recovery drive for a PC that already won't boot. It has to already exist, sitting in a drawer the day you actually need it. So don't wait for the black screen. Build the recovery drive today while everything is still working. That's the whole point.